Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Today, we're going to be talking about something most organizations are dealing with right now, which is the complex tool environments that are built over time through acquisitions, regulatory changes, different team needs. Companies often build up with many systems that don't fully connect. The challenge isn't just the number of tools, it's a lack of unified way to manage the data, visibility, and governance across them. So today we're going to be looking at what makes sense to migrate systems, when that makes sense, when integration is the better path, and how organizations can modernize without adding unnecessary risk or long-term technical debt. I'm joined by two leaders in the industry today who work directly in this space. Joydeep Data from Kovair. He is Senior Director for Product Development, who has architected migration and integration strategies across complex enterprise ALM and DevOps landscapes throughout his time with Kovair. So welcome, Joydeep.
Sure.
And Michael Hallett. He is the president of Surge One Data Services, who works hands-on with enterprise clients managing large-scale data optimization and governance initiatives. So, Michael, so glad to have you.
Hi.
All right, we'll go ahead and jump right in. We'll start with you, Joydeep. When organizations begin transformation, how should they think about migration versus integration, and what drives that decision?
Yes, this is a fundamental decision that organizations need to decide between migration and integration. Primarily, the decision should be driven by organization business transformation objective, not just merely by technology preference. If the primary goal is tool consolidation, long-term optimization, and process standardization, okay, in that case, migrating to a modern platform is the most effective approach. Now, migration platforms such as QuickSync enable controlled, validated, and traceable data movement, which is very important to have a complete control over the data migration. Now, let's say the case when organization needs to maintain business continuity, support multiple teams on different tool integration. In that case, the integration plays a very important role where data, process, and users all coexist with a minimal risk. Integration backbone like Omnibus provides a real-time or near real-time synchronization across the source target tools in the ecosystem. In reality, what we have seen that over the decades in many enterprises starts with integration to stabilize the process, unify the teams, bring data across into a unified canonical format. Once the platform is stabilized and the data are coexisting without any conflict, in that case, they gradually move to bring in migration to a newer platform. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So you've emphasized that business objectives should drive the decision, not technology preference. What business outcomes must leadership align before choosing the right path?
Yes, the leadership should not consider migration or ongoing integration as a one-time technical exercise. Rather, we would say it is a business transformation across the organization. Also, the leadership should not underestimate the data complexity, then the data across the tools of different format, data validations, data adaptations, because these are very much part of the challenges when a tool get inside a existing set of ecosystem of tools where they need to integrate. Now, according to our experience, proven that migration or integration platform with a phase strategy always avoids any pitfall that is most likely to occur. Thank you.
Got it. Perfect. Thank you. So, Michael, from your perspective, working with executive teams, where do organizations most often miscalculate when making the same decision?
From experience with executive teams globally, the most common error we see is starting with the tool decision instead of the desired business outcome. Leadership may favor consolidation, modernization, or specific platforms because it feels strategically clean for them, but underestimate the operational risk, change impact, and time to value relative to what the business actually needs. Kovair is focused on time to value and the highest level of data integration, data integrity, key in a paradigm change to operational efficiency. This is very, very important for any company to look at and say exactly what am I trying to achieve here, rather than a technical tool decision.
Perfect. Makes sense. So this is, like you said, fundamentally a business strategy first and architecture second.
It's absolutely the business strategy first, and we see this globally on a continuing basis, and ending up with pieces and bits of data across the organization is something that we recommend strongly against.
Got it. All right. Well, let's move on then. Looks like we nailed that one. So back to you, Joydeep. One of the biggest frustrations we hear is fragmented reporting across tools. Is this the real issue, the number of tools, or is it the absence of unifying data and governance model?
Yes, it is true that real challenge is not the number of tools in the ecosystem, but the absence of a proven platform that can unify data and governance across the tool ecosystem. As we know, organizations adopt multiple tools over a period of time due to acquisitions, team preference, and regulatory needs. That creates data islands. Thus, reporting manually, inconsistent, and unreliable is imminent. The fragmentation prevents leadership from gaining a single truth of data where they have a complete visibility. Now, the big question is, how do we solve this? Now, the problem is typically resolved through either structured data consolidation via migration or continuous synchronization using an integration platform. Now, as we know, migration brings historical and active data into common platform, enabling standardized report and analytics. Synchronization, on the other hand, allows tools to coexist while keeping data aligned in the real time. Platforms such as QuickSync support governed, traceable, consolidated, while Omnibus enables scalable, reusable integration. Together, they help an organization to establish data consistency, proven visibility, and restore governance. This has been a successful story for over a decade by large organizations and like semiconductor or financial to turn a funnel of data which is normalized and easy to report. Thank you.
So, Michael, what happens at the leadership level when executives don't have a single trusted view of delivery and governance?
So most important is to restore trust in cross-system reporting. An organization must anchor its architecture in principles that ensure data consistency, traceability, and governance from source to dashboard. So what does that mean in today's terms? Artificial intelligence is less effective without completely transparent and accurate data with the highest integrity of accuracy. Our view always will encourage the platform for transparency, yet anchored by security of data.
Perfect. So I think this one might be better for Joydeep. If an organization wants to restore trust in reporting across systems, what architectural principles must be in place?
From principle standpoint, The execution point of view first establish a single source of truth with canonical data models. Integration layer like ESB Omnibus should normalize and reconcile data from the disparate tools in the ecosystem so a report comes which is unbiased and maintain the semantics across the tools. Second principle, implementation of end-to-end data lineage and auditability. Every metric should be traceable back to its originating transaction with immutable logs, correlation IDs, and reconciliation reports. This is a very classical problem that every CTO or technical heads do encounter when they go for an exercise of adopting a new set of tools or a platform. As you know, replacing legacy system overnight is rarely possible due to the active projects, regulatory dependencies, and team familiarities. Now the question is, what is the ideal approach? Based on our experience and the customers that we have dealt with, the recommended approach that we always feel is the controlled coexistence, where legacies and modern platform operates without disrupting each other for few months and gradually shift to a new platform when the data are perfect, there's no friction on the reports, and all the teams are happy. Now, ESB platform like Omnibus enables data process and synchronization across all the tools in the ecosystem. With this in place, when the system becomes streamlined, team are okay with adopting this new technology, then is the right time when you move from synchronization to migration. Thank you.
Thank you, Joydeep. All right. Let's talk about risk, because migration failures have damaged stakeholder confidence in many different organizations. So, Joydeep, what reduces risk during large-scale migration?
Yes, you are right. Large-scale migration failure often erodes the stakeholder confidence, not because of any single defect, but because the risk hasn't been engineered out of the process. Migration failure do damage the confidence of the stakeholders. However, the platform like QuickSyncs are designed to reduce the risk through controlled, observable execution. QuickSync allows web-based migration, incremental migration, avoid high-risk big bang cutovers. Its built-in data reconciliation and validations ensures record matched in the source system with the target system. Platform supports job-based migration. Thus, one can rerun those jobs to fill in any gap that has been missed during the prior execution. With persistent transaction logs and audit trail, team get complete traceability about each of these transactions. QuickSync's real-time monitoring, dashboard, and sanity check allows rapid detection and containment of anomalies. Together, these capabilities make large-scale migration using QuickSync more predictable, transparent, and it reduces the risk at manyfold. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So how do you handle massive data volumes without disrupting production environments?
Yes. Handling massive data during migration requires a platform where design of this platform prioritize scalability and system stability. Large-scale migration and integration should never be relying on synchronous one-shot migration or other execution. On the contrary, if we can segregate the load over time, it makes the platform user and migration smooth. We have also seen that instead that batched migration, processing the data in chunks, as doing asynchronous data synchronization or migration reduces the throughput load on the system as well as in the system of source and target. Now, asynchronous execution after decouples the processing. It decouples the execution from source and target, thus allowing the process to run independently and making the system more stable. In parallel, what we have also seen, ESB-based migration handles real-time data or near real-time data for active data synchronization. This hybrid approach, including synchronization along with a migration, always provide a fruitful result and avoid any disrupting day-to-day operations. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So, Michael, how do you prevent today's transformation from becoming tomorrow's technical debt?
So preventing future technical debt starts with enforcing standards, architecture, and strong governance during the transformation, not after. Think about a large corporate global organization with dozens of countries going towards one app and requiring all that data to arrive in a high integrity fashion so everybody can rely upon that data and the dashboards start to be very effective for the corporation because that data was taken, it was transported, and it was delivered to the right area with the highest integrity. So planning ahead to do those kinds of things becomes extremely critical. A lot of companies do not do that. They do it piecemeal. What we're saying is use our products. It's a corporate tool. It's well proven well over a decade of use of many, many large corporations, and work with us on the business objective as well as deliverables. So the consistent theme here is disciplined execution, right down from the very management level, traceability, and the future-proof design. You have to be able to make the changes as you go forward easily and with the team that you can trust.
Got it. Perfect. That makes total sense. I appreciate that. So let's see. Moving on to the next topic, coexistence and modernization. So most CTOs cannot retire legacy systems overnight. So Joydeep, how do you approach coexistence between legacy and modern platforms?
Coexistence should evolve into a phased migration when the integration system demonstrates stable synchronization, validated data, and predictable performance over multiple business cycles. At that stage, coexistence has served its purpose as a safety net, and maintaining dual system now only adds overhead cost. Now, key point is when a business user being relying primarily on target system for day-to-day operation, indicating behavioral readiness, not just technical readiness. Finally, the governance should confirm wave readiness, clear cutover criteria, stakeholder sign-off, and a validated rollback plan. When the coexistence is no longer protecting the business but merely prolonging the transition, that is the right moment to shift deliberately into a phased migration. Thank you.
Of course, thank you. All right. So, Michael, what signals indicate that an organization is ready to move from coexistence to simplification?
So a major practical signal is when reconciliation reports consistently show near zero discrepancies. Very critical. And exception rates remain within agreed thresholds. Again, small, medium, large companies, when you're starting to move data, from A to B, A to Z, it's critical to make sure you have consistency, integrity of data on the arrival at home. Then the company can actually be confident that that data can be used to run the business in the most effective operational manner.
Great. Thank you, Michael. So this has been a great discussion. I really appreciate everything, Joydeep and Michael, but we do have a few audience questions that I would like to pull in before the end of our time here. So I'm going to go ahead and get going into what those were. Let's see, where are they? All right, so here's one. This one looks good for Joydeep. Our organization uses multiple ALM and DevOps tools, and reporting is fragmented and painful. Is tool sprawl the real issue?
It's a good question. Let me answer it in a way. See, in a nutshell, I would say tool sprawl is really the root problem. Lack of integration, canonical data, and governance is the real issue. From technical perspective, the most organization can operate multiple ALM and DevOps platforms successfully if there is a robust integration platform in the backbone. The real issue is the absence of an unified data model and end-to-end traceability with automated synchronization across the connected system. When an integration layer such as Omnibus harmonizes the fields, the data, and the mappings are fixed, multi-tool environment can produce a consistent and trustworthy report. See, the bottom line is tool sprawl becomes a problem when the underlying data is not unified. I hope I have answered your question. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. All right, so let's see, we have another one. Data migration failures in the past have damaged stakeholder confidence. How do we rebuild trust during transformation? Michael, would you like to take that first?
Trust in the data, particularly in any kind of large transformation, is so critical. So building through the team, transparency, validation, and controlled execution together ends up being the key perspective that everybody must have during this period of time. Once you arrive there, the team starts to build extreme confidence in how it was done, what the data shows, and the effectiveness they can use it within the business. Highly critical. I know we've talked about this several times, but there are a few companies on the planet that can actually achieve that in an effective way. Kovair is one of them.
Thank you. Joydeep, do you have anything to add?
Yes, it's a tough scenario to handle, but using a phased-based migration or wave-based migration rather than a big bang cutover always brings a sense of peace across the stakeholders. For that, we also need a strong backbone of migration platform that ensures migrations are restartable and fully auditable so failure can be safely recovered. The tool should provide real-time dashboards, clear rollback plans to stakeholders. When migration becomes observable, measurable, and reversible, it immediately brings the confidence to the stakeholder. That's all. Thank you.
Got it. Thank you. All right, so let's see. It looks like we have time for one more question. Here it is. We need to modernize platforms for new teams without disrupting legacy systems tied to regulatory commitments. What is the practical path forward? Joydeep, would you like to take that?
Yeah. Adopting a modernized platform in a practical sense required the initial phase where we control the coexistence, not replacement. Introduce an integration layer like Omnibus that lets new platform operates side by side with the legacy system while maintaining the data consistency and auditability. Use phased migration, and strict validation and rollback readiness to protect regulatory and commitments. The approach delivers innovation for new teams while keeping the legacy operations stable and compliant. This is how we believe that you can always move to a modernized platform. However, you need to have a solid base planning along with a strong tool like QuickSync or Omnibus. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. All right, so it looks like we are coming up on time. I want to thank everyone for the thoughtful questions that have been submitted. If there are more that we haven't been able to get to, we will get back to you via email with any remaining questions. Joydeep, Michael, thank you so much for your insights today. It's been very informative. I would say, our key takeaways from what I've learned from today is migration and integration are not competing strategies. They are architectural tools. The organizations that succeed are the ones that align transformation to business outcomes, embedded governance by design, and execute in discipline. Phasing this out is better than, the big bang risk of doing all of it at once. So I think that should hopefully help some folks out there. And if anybody has any questions or anything, I will be sending out some follow-ups as well. Thank you so much again for joining us today. I hope you guys have a great day.